Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Tech Talk with Trish and Nicole. And I am really excited today, Nicole, because we're using one of my most favorite, best kept secrets of the Google for Education workspace, and that's Google Keep. This is the last Post-it note you're ever going to need.
Oh, throw them away, throw them away.
Now, I love lists. This is something that helps me stay organized. I use Google Keep probably almost every day in my own adult professional life. I use it for staff meeting notes. I use it for grocery lists. I use it to collaborate with colleagues. But this is also an amazing tool for project management, for agendas, and
Agendas.
for even doing some sketch notes with our students. Now, this is an amazing tool to use with all of your students, but we know that we do have some of our students that need some real specific visual cues to help them stay organized and independent in class without always having to wait for a teacher to come and tell them what's next. And so that's how we're going to kick things off. I used to be the person, Nicole, that had the Post-it notes like all over the edge of my monitor. And then I'd get home and of course, guess what
You
happens?
forgot it.
I forgot that note at the office. So no more, because not only is this available completely in the Chrome world, works on any Chromebook, any Chrome browser, I have to say the mobile app for Google Keep is unbelievable and has even more features to support our students. So number one, we highly recommend if your students have mobile devices, get them to put that free Google Keep app on here and just log in with your ECSD username and credentials, and it will be fantastic. Now, I'm very excited this morning. Can I take you on a little tour of Google Keep?
Absolutely. I'm really excited to see the agenda feature that you're going to
Ooh,
show
so
today.
right now, if you want to follow along with us, feel free to pause us. Feel free to open up keep.google.com and you're going to be taken to your Keep. Now, if you've never used it before, it's going to look pretty empty. But as you can see, I use this a lot
All the
for a
time.
lot of different things. And so I'm going to show you some of the basics. Let's just start with a basic taking a note. Now, when I take a note, I can add a title to this note and I can add text to this note. Now, I want you to imagine we want our students to do a little bit of project management. I could perhaps give them the list of the tasks on the board and maybe they're copying the tasks down. Or for some of our students, we may need to provide that list. Imagine just having your to-do list on a Google Doc and you give it to students inside your Google Classroom. And I can just copy this. Now, I'm going to show you how Google Keep is part of Docs in just a moment. But let's just imagine I have this list my teacher gave me, and I want to do my water cycle project. I'm going to either type that text, I'm just going to paste and put in that text. So I've got that I need to watch my Bill Nye the Science Guy video. My high school crush. I loved him. He was so smart, told me everything I need to know about the planet. We can put in a sketch. We can gather recycled materials. This is great because it gives me some to do. Remember, maybe this list is about a morning routine. Maybe this list is for a very small chunk of time. So think about your students' needs and that project management. Maybe they can't have the whole project on one list. Maybe they just have one day at a time of what they're accomplishing. So feel free to break that down for your students as you need.
It can even be something like their reading and writing routines in the morning to keep them focused.
Got it. You got it. Now, a few things we can do with this note to make it even more collaborative, even more successful, and getting us off just print only. A couple things I can do is I first of all can add a reminder. This is great because it'll pop up a reminder in my calendar. It'll pop up a reminder in my notifications like my mobile device. And so I can set that recurring reminder where I want it to remind me every day at 4 o'clock. But one of the things I really love, Nicole, is you can actually geotag it. I can have it pick a place. So as soon as I get home, ping, I get a reminder notification on my phone because imagine this was my agenda that I was doing
Absolutely.
and I can have it do that reminder. And so I can put whatever I want in there to give me those reminders so that I know to get it done.
And that's something that's really important for those kids that get home and all of a sudden are distracted by everything. So as
You
soon
got
as
it.
they enter the door, their science goes off because they have science work that they need to
They got to
complete.
do it. You got it. Now, I love this because it can be collaborative. Collaborative is great because perhaps I'm working with my friend on this project. And so I'm going to go ahead and add my friend Nicole because she's going to be working on this project with me. But perhaps if this was an agenda, I want to make sure I add maybe my teacher or maybe my paraprofessional or somebody else that's coming in that needs to be able to say, hey, where are you at with this project? You can equally open up that keep, see where they've left off, and be able to continue on with them. So I love how we can make this so collaborative amongst our students. And it's live editing. So that means you will already have this note shared with you and you would be able to add anything to this and I would see it in real time that this is that you're adding to it.
So eventually it's going to actually show up on my Google Keep on my phone as
You
soon
got
as it syncs back and forth with the internet, of course.
it. The power of the Wi-Fi. All right. We know that I'm a girl that likes some bright colors, but what I really love is we can still use the power of visual cues when it comes to our keeps. So I can actually change my notes different colors. Perhaps all of my science notes, I'm going to make blue. Maybe all of my language arts notes, I'm going to make those ones be purple. And I can pick those colors so that I visually am organized and I can see the categories these notes belong to. You can also do things like add images to it. They've got some new images that they've given you, and you're going to be able to add your own. I'm going to show you a great way we can add our own to these different notes. But I just love how visual we can make this. Maybe for now, I'm just going to make this be a lovely, maybe we'll do green for science. There we go.
Absolutely. And you can see actually that I added a little bit of text in there, number two.
Oh, good. Watch my videos in my Discovery Education folder. Fantastic. And so we can even just like have all of this in a list, but I like to take it a step further, Nicole, because one of the things we can do wherever we see those three dots, I like to call them the Timbits, and we know we always want more Timbits. It's the more menu inside of Google. And in here, one of the things that I can actually do is I can show checkboxes, which
Oh, I
means
love
it's
it.
now turned this into a list. So I can even drag and reorder. Oh, look at that. You've already got it ready. If I need to change the order of something, I can actually drag and move these items around so that I'm doing them in different orders. I can have, subcategories, whatever I
Cool.
want. But what's really neat is as soon as I check something off, it puts it in the completed. It's not gone. It gives me that visual reminder of I did that. I completed that. That task is done. And now we can continue to focus on the rest. Now, one more thing that's great for organization is we can add labels. You'll notice I have a lot of labels down my left-hand side because I use this for everything from going to different conferences to staff meetings, but students can also use this and they can create a label. Now you can add a label by going to your more menu and entering a label name. But another fun way to be able to do this is at any time if I add a hashtag, that hashtag actually opens up the idea of labels. So I can go ahead and I can choose something that I'm doing, or I can even type in my own label and it'll create it for me. Like maybe I want to do science and it will create it for me. So lots of things that we can do to be able to make this very organized. And I'll show you how we can find this. Now the pin, that's to keep it at the top of your main landing page of Google Keep. Google Keep main landing page is just a chronological list of all the different notes you've had. It could feel disorganized or overwhelming, but we're about to use those labels well. But for something that you are using all the time and you just like to keep it there in front of you no matter what, just hit that little pin and now when you close your note, it's going to keep it in this pinned section at the top. And you can see underneath these, I've got a lot pinned. You can see all my others that are not pinned. They're all down there. But what's most important is we can use these labels we've created. And so you can see here where I've made a little awesome things and it's like, oh, there's my awesome things section. I can go and look at it. But what I really like is I can take that same thing I just did for the water cycle project and look at this for an agenda. I could create that agenda so that I have it. And instead of that painful painful 20 minutes at the end of my day that I'm trying to get kids to write in this agenda that they're probably never going to show anybody. What I like is kids being able to add ongoing throughout the day in the moment to those agendas so that they always have it at their fingertips. And so what's great about that is I made a little folder here, a little label for my agendas. And you can see I have mine here. This is one my son is using to be able to like know what he needs. And it's just such a great way to keep tabs on everything that you need to do.
I love
Now,
it.
I want to take this up a notch. We know how to do this for project management. We know how to do this for agendas. And you can even see here, I added a little image. I made this image in Google Drawings. It was so easy. I just made one for science, one for anything. We can actually add images to our notes. It couldn't be easier. But Nicole, I like drawings. I like the idea of sketch notes and annotation. And so often our students are trying to stay focused in the classroom. Imagine they're doing something auditory where I need to perhaps watch a video, or I'm listening to my teacher give some instructions, or I'm maybe reading a passage. And I want to be able to sketch my understanding while I'm hearing that to kind of help build that meaning. And so sketchnoting is a very powerful technique that we can use with our students in our classrooms. But imagine I was going to add that drawing. Well, you'll notice here where it says take a note, there's a little paintbrush that I can make a drawing right from here. Or I can hit that more menu and I'll see add a
Add a
drawing.
drawing.
Either way, it's the same thing.
So it's almost like a visual journal, right? So then you could actually, so when you do your label of science, you could even make that a little more specific to whatever the topic area is, so that you have a label for that, and then all of their sketch notes as they go along. It's their visual journal record of their learning.
100%. And what's great about it is I instantly have a blank workspace. I instantly have markers, my eraser, my pencil, my highlighter. I even have different backgrounds. So if I wanted ruled lined notes, if I wanted some square graph paper, but I can suddenly start to make some meaning. So, perhaps I'm using a mathematical strategy. Maybe I'm drawing the water cycle, whatever I'm doing. So, maybe I'm trying to just show like a basic array. What are all the different ways I can show this? And I can start putting in my different, circles and equal groupings and putting these things together. I'm not using a touchscreen. This is simply my mouse. And so when I have these types of things, I'll show you one that I've done here. Of course, I can give it a label, I can give it a title, but imagine I have this one here where I was working on the water cycle and I was watching a Bill Nye video and I was learning about evaporation and condensation and precipitation and groundwater. And I'm just putting in all the different pieces of my understanding while I'm watching it. I can now, of course, add different print, add different titles right underneath of it, but this is in my note. And so, of course, I can give it my title and I can type in some information. I can even give it that label. And remember, whenever you're typing hashtag, I can type in a few things. I can put this under science. I can put this under whatever I want. What's lovely is, like you said, if I suddenly and I want to go find this again, got a couple things I can do. I can, of course, go look at my labels and I could just go pull up science. Or what I can do is I can simply even do a search. It's a keyword search inside of Google Keep. So if I type in water, here's everything that I had in water all inside of my Keep in that one little kind of keyword, and I'll be able to find it again.
I love it. And so, like, you could also do the label like weather, right? So, because you'd find the water cycle in grade five science in weather. So,
Mhm.
you can have that, and all of their weather information is all organized in that space when they search.
100%. Now, one more thing with sketching that I can't get enough of, and that's the idea of annotation. We can take those images that we're applying to our Google Keep, we label them. So you'll notice here, we were studying the human eye. How often, like we have black line masters that we're getting kids to try to do in sketching, but we can use real life images and we can have our students annotate right over top of them. Or maybe I even have a reading passage, like maybe I have an image of a poem. I've got the Raven, little Edgar Allan Poe, and I'm getting students to be able to go ahead and circle all of the similes that they can find in that poem. So how I did this could not be more simple. I simply went and did a Google search for the human eye. found one that I like here because I can see, oh, this is great. It's got all of the different anatomical features that I want to be able to use. And then of course, I don't want the one that's already labeled for me. I want this image. I'm just going to go ahead and copy that image or control C. And when I go to my Google Keep, all I'm doing is pasting. I don't have to save that image. I don't have to download that image. Control V, I'm just pasting that image. It's now in my Keep. And remember, mobile app, I can take a picture of anything and add it to my Keep. So like I said, if you've got a piece of student work, they take a picture of it, they throw it in their Google Keep. Well, now what I can do when I click on that image is I can go ahead and I can click the pen and I can edit the drawing. And it just opens up that very familiar space where I was able to use my pens and all my different features, and I can start to label and I can start to put these different pieces on here and I can make some meaning and make sense of it as I'm learning. And it will say saved right here in this image.
Trish, can I just add too? So if you have students that really struggle with their using of the mouse, then you can download that picture that has the labels already on it.
Totally.
Or you can also, with the Google app Keep, you can actually take a picture so they can actually take a picture of their own eye
You got it.
and
You
then do
got it.
it.
And also, it is a touchscreen on the mobile phone, so they would be able to use their fingers. But I don't know, I've gotten pretty good at inking with my mouse. It just takes a little bit of
It
practice.
does.
Give your kids the opportunity to do it. But one of the things that I really like about this now is we have to remember whenever I'm in any of my Google tools, whether I'm in slides, docs, sheets, anywhere, on the right-hand side, we actually have all of our different Google tools for organization and task management. We're going to have some future videos on calendar and tasks and a few more things, but Google Keep is integrated. And you'll notice right here, oh, look, there's my science agenda right here. I can actually add information right here and it's now in that Keep. It's ready for me. I didn't have to try to go open something else, go find it. Keep can be put into Docs. Docs can be turned into Keep. It's unbelievable. And really, this just scratches the surface of what you can do with Google Keep in the classroom. Below this video, we've included 25 more ideas for how you can use Google Keep for teacher feedback, for projects, for everything. But we hope that you really think about those students who need a little bit more of organizational support for projects, for agendas, and some of that visual support when it comes to creating sketches and labeling for their learning. So I love this, Nicole. I can't get enough of it. I hope that everybody gets rid of the Post-its and makes some Google Keeps.
Take those Post-its and toss them.
Thanks for watching, everybody.
Thank you.